The NBA is absolutely screwing the Los Angeles Lakers as a bunch of new reports have come out, and even JJ Redick himself has finally spoke out, revealing some ridiculous information surrounding other teams and a scandal that's going on between the Lakers and those teams. We're going to break that down and discuss what it means going forward, as well as break down a ton of other new Lakers updates. But before we get into it, if you're part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Lakers content. Your guys' support has been absolutely fantastic. If you want to help us towards our big goal of 20,000 subscribers, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And thank you guys again for your continued support. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a ton to go over today. Let's dive right into it. Now, obviously, the Lakers are coming off of a very big win against the Grizzlies, but within that, some crazy news came out as it pertains specifically to one particular aspect of this team. And everybody's starting to speak out about it, and the Lakers are getting screwed according to actual analytics. And yesterday, John Morant had missed the previous 6 games due to injury. We were, as Lakers fans, we always expect other team star players or other teams' players in general to be available once the time comes for the Los Angeles Lakers to play them. Coach JJ Redick expects John Morant to play, and he was asked about, is it just kind of, just an illusion that a bunch of the star players come back versus the Lakers, or is it a real thing? He said earlier this season, his analytics group found that 86% of opposing teams' players have been available, ranking first in the NBA. And David McMenamin comes on to say, JJ Redick said the Lakers analytics department looked into the internet fan theory that the opposing team's players suddenly get healthy when it's time to play LA. I think it's like 86% of opposing payroll have been available to play us this year, which is by far number 1 in the league. And this is a little bit ridiculous because it has been a long-lasting, I guess, stigma around the Lakers, and I don't even know if stigma is the correct word, but it's been a long-lasting theme that the opposing team's star players, now whether that be Ja Morant in the case of yesterday's game against the Grizzlies, or last game against the Grizzlies, whether that be any other player, it consistently happens, specifically with the Los Angeles Lakers, that the other team's star players end up returning. Now, we saw it clearly night and day with the Boston Celtics multiple times this year, where the game before the game against the Lakers, they'll rest Jaylen Brown, they'll rest Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, all these different guys, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, the whole 9 yards. They'll rest those guys in order to get prepared for the Los Angeles Lakers game, which is in theory then why the 86% of the opposing payroll has been available to play. And again, I don't know if scandal is necessarily the best word to use, but to the point now where everybody is speaking out about it because it is true at this point. And for the first time, we actually have data to back it up from JJ Redick. And shout out to JJ for actually getting this data behind the scenes, because it is a little bit ridiculous that 86% of the opposing team's players essentially means that very rarely is the opposing team injured. Teams that play, it's very rare that the opposing team is injured against the Lakers, but B, if a player is questionable, they're always going to make and shot against the Lakers. Now, you can also see this as a positive because of how prestigious the Lakers organization is, how good that is. Everybody wants to play against the Los Angeles Lakers. There's no doubt about it. Every time you suit up against the Lakers, there's a bit of a chip on the other team's shoulder. We've seen that throughout the years, especially now at a time where LeBron's entering his final few seasons. You have Luka Doncic, all these different things. You want to go up against LeBron and Luka, right? But the Lakers, by and large, end up getting screwed over by this because they're always playing the healthy teams. Now, I'm not saying necessarily screwed in a bad way, because I do ultimately think that this is a good thing for the Lakers. Yes, it hurts the standings a little bit, but it prepares them well for the playoffs. So I'm curious to see what you all think about this down below in the comment section. Let me know down below if you think that this is, a collective thing. Do you think it affects the team a lot? I wanted to bring it up because JJ Redick did, and it is a very unique and interesting scenario for this team. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know down below what your thoughts are. And let's move on to a few other things. Let me visit this a little bit later in the video as well. The Lakers now are entering a crucial stretch of play. We're now in the last handful of games of the season. There's not that many left, less than double digits. And the team is looking okay. They're coming off of some losses, some wins, a big win against the Grizzlies, all these different things. And now that the team is healthy, there's a bunch of different question marks that have arisen to the point where JJ Redick held a team meeting surrounding the Lakers, and Jovan Buha came out and revealed some of the info surrounding that meeting. JJ Redick called a meeting with the team's 3 leaders, LeBron, Luka, and Reaves, yesterday morning in Memphis ahead of the final game of the Lakers' 4-game road trip. The goal was to discuss ways to optimize the offense around their collective shot creation and playmaking skills. Now, this is going to be a big question mark going forward. Again, how these 3 work alongside each other. Once LeBron returned from injury, they lost a couple games. Obviously, the brutal game against the Bulls where LeBron had the hiccups, and then of course JJ Redick was obviously upset because Josh Giddey hit the half court shot, all these different things, right? But what it comes down to as we start to wrap up the season, having meetings like this are going to be key because we know Austin Reaves, he's not necessarily, I mean, he has been earlier in his career used to playing off ball, but now he's playing more. He was playing more on ball before the Luka trade, and now he's starting to settle in. But to get these three involved, that's what's going to win you playoff games. Reaves, Doncic, LeBron James. The rest is going to fall into place, whether that be Jackson Hayes at the 5, whether that be Dorian Finney-Smith, Rui Hachimura, whoever decides to start in a given night. You need these three guys to be the catalyst to winning basketball games, right? And to have a team meeting, I love it from JJ Redick, especially this late in the season. You don't see that often. As you look at the Lakers' final 9 games, again, the Memphis game is already now over. So they won that against Memphis. You go up against Houston, the Warriors, the Pelicans, Oklahoma twice, Dallas, Houston, Portland. This is a very difficult schedule for a few different reasons. Portland, the last game of the season, it could come down to that as it pertains to the seeding of this team. But you're going up against Houston, a very good team. Golden State Warriors, a very good Western Conference team. The Pelicans, that might be one of the easier games. Then you play Oklahoma City twice, and who knows if they're going to be resting any of their stars, things like that. And Dallas now, with Anthony Davis back, they are fighting for a play-in spot against, the Phoenix Suns. So they're going to be trying to win every single game, albeit without Kyrie. And then you play Houston again. These are all Western Conference battles, division rivals, but most importantly, these are all teams that need to win games in order to continue to secure themselves in a seed. And I'm curious to see, let me know down below what the projected record for these teams are. And again, you pair this with the fact that a bunch of these guys are having, a bunch of these other teams always have their stars ready. I can guarantee you that Anthony Davis is going to go ahead and play his former team against the Mavericks when the Lakers play the Mavericks, that is, coming up here shortly. So it is going to be a hectic last handful of games. As you look at the standings right now, with the win over the Grizzlies, they gave themselves a game cushion above them. Of course, they have, one more win and one less loss. So they're, a game ahead. And the Thunder are way ahead. Now, they might be resting. That might be a blessing in disguise for the Lakers as they rest their players down the stretch. But you're going up against the Rockets here in that schedule. You have a chance to catch them. You're 3 games behind them, and you play them twice in the final 8 games of the year. If you want to make a push for the 2 seed, it's not like it's completely out of the realm of possibility. It is very possible, depending on how things shake out. Of course, the Warriors currently in the play-in spot, tied with the Clippers. Clippers are the tiebreaker. You're really going to try, if you're the Warriors, to get out of the play-in spot. We all know the Lakers are very used to the play-in spot. Every time they've made the playoffs for the past half decade, it's been in the play-in position. Sorry. This is going to be an absolute battle, and it's going to be something that, paired with the fact that the Lakers get screwed by the opposing teams always playing, it's going to be a very, very interesting one. So let me know down below what your thoughts are on that. It is going to be a very wild next handful of games. A couple other things for tonight's games in particular, if you're curious who you'd be rooting for. Clippers lose to the Cavs, Wolves lose to the Pistons, Warriors lose to the Spurs, and the Rockets to lose to the Suns in quadruple overtime because, of course, they play them in their next game. But ladies and gentlemen, that'll wrap it up. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on the specific incident regarding JJ Redick, speaking out about it, a bunch of different things that are going on. We're going to keep you up to date with all the latest Lakers news, so make sure to hit the subscribe button. Cheers.